Test 1, 2. So, hey, Christina. Um, um, Short answer, yeah, probably. You probably just need to do the squats a little bit with a greater range of motion. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's totally what you should do. You could turn your mic on too if you want. Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. Oh, no, my list is not with me. Um, Hi there. Hello. So I'm just waiting for. This is my dog Willow, by the way. Hey, hi, hello. Willow is a um, almost purebred Shih Tzu, and she loves to cuddle. And she hasn't seen me since this morning, so she gets some kisses. She gets to kiss the chin. No, it does. The red phone does not. But if you take your mouse over to the left-hand side, I gotta tell you, it's nice being able to work while you're cuddling your puppy. Oh, okay, no worries. Well, um, if we don't get anybody else joining, I'm probably just gonna. Hi there. Okay, you go over and you have a sleep because you probably had a rough day. Um, so yeah, I might. I don't. If we don't get anybody else on, I won't really go over the stuff we went over today. Yeah. Um, and did you have a chance to try any of the stuff we talked about as far as getting your pecs to feel a little bit less painful, or how'd that work out? Was it helpful? There you go. My job is done. Um, okay, I'll just. It's 8 on the. Well, it's 8:01. Oh, yeah. Well, that'll. Not moving is not good, but that's the reality of the modern work environment. So, so you just got to keep moving around, and you'll be fine. Um, and you got the motivational interviewing questionnaire done too. So, hmm. Yeah, the Superman is a pretty great exercise, especially if you do it. When you did the Superman, you made sure that your feet stayed on the ground as well. Okay, good. Yeah, you should be good to go then. Yeah, you want to keep your feet on the ground. This is different than the Ashtanga Superman, or the Yoga Superman. Sorry. So it's it's a bit different, but um, I'll hmm. Okay, I'll go through the points we discussed in the morning, and we got somebody else joining us, so I'm just gonna wait until they show up. Until then, I guess I'm gonna maybe I'll just play with my dog. Unless you got any more questions about um, nutrition or anything like that. How many workouts have you got done so far? Just the first one? Beautiful. Okay. So the other thing too, we're going to be setting up what's called a rolling group. So once people are done doing the Rookie to Rockstar group, we'll have a second group that we put people into for not maintenance, but just to continue on, a more advanced group. And so that'll be getting set up in the next week or so. And if you refer people into the next Rookie to Rockstar group, then you get a big discount on your next if you sign up again. It's kind of it's exactly the same way that I do training in person, where we have these 2 or 3 month Kickstarter programs to get people up to speed, and then we put them all into a community, a group program where there's people of all different fitness levels, and that works really well. So we're going to try to emulate that with the online experience. And I've got 2 of you on right now. What I'd really like to hear, because we are this is very new, I'd really like to figure out how we can improve. So I've got 4 hours of development time tomorrow set aside, and I want to kind of take it up a notch. So if there's any feedback you guys have, fire away. I'm really open to figuring out how to make this work better for everyone.
Well, for me, it's I guess I'm an academic. I understand that that's my thing. So like some of the maybe more of the why, like you sent us this diet and I've been following the diet and obviously ex post facto I feel better, I feel healthier.
Okay, good.
But like why some of the stuff where why some of that, I guess, is my thing.
Yeah, and actually that's an excellent question. And the first thing I would say is that I'm a why guy too. So I go to the why. No, I'm just kidding. I really enjoy trying to empower people and give them more knowledge so that they can. Sorry, I'm just going to turn my phone off so it stops beeping at me. So they can make better decisions, so that they're free to, if they want to continue training with me, that's great. But it's not like once they're done, then it's, well, if you're not going to continue training, then you're on your own. I want to empower you, give you as much knowledge as you can handle. So the one thing we're doing to facilitate that is that nobody's expected to make it to all the Hangouts. That's totally not the intention of the Hangouts. The Hangouts is to connect with 1 or 2 or 5 or 6, people and get feedback and get questions and then answer them. And then within a day or 2 after the Hangout to go through and tag the Hangout at different points along so you don't have to watch the whole thing. And then it allows you to navigate through that Hangout and watch it after the fact and gain that knowledge. So I guess I'll delve into that a bit. The meal plan is, the first point of the meal plan is to make things simple so that you can actually do it. And then after that, it's to create buy-in. So once you've done it, you're going to go, wait, I feel better. Now, why is that? That creates curiosity. When we have curiosity, then we have the opportunity to educate. If you don't actually experience any benefit, you're not really going to be that interested in the mechanisms that are used in the diet. So the first thing is, I guess, do you have anything specific like that you're looking at and you're going, why the hell has he got me eating that?
Well, the beet thing kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah, we went over beets quite a bit today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I don't mind. But beets. The first thing is, that I don't know if you're familiar with the fact that there are pre-workout supplements out there.
Yes.
Okay, and some of them get advertised in UFC a lot, um, and there's a few things that pre-workout supplements attempt to do. First thing is they try to increase the blood delivery to the muscles, and this will increase the pump, and that is beneficial because it will get more fuel and oxygen into the muscle. It will also increase the feeling of like, oh wow, I'm really feeling my chest right now. So that's important because then your brain connects better to those muscles. Um, Guys like it, bodybuilders and guys that are really interested in being buff or whatever, enjoy it because it increases it slightly increases the size of their like the vascularity, so they look bigger and meaner and whatever. But really, what's important is that we've increased the blood volume. The beets are being put into your diet because that will increase. That's the there's a compound called beta alanins, and that's what is actually going to improve the blood delivery. So
Okay.
beets
I
beets are
think I think I caught your explanation. The beta alanins kicked it in.
yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Mhm.
Cool.
That and beets have a lot of insoluble fiber, which is kind of neat. So they help with bowel movements. Having a good shit is like so important to weight loss and to just healthy function. And so many people don't have those. So one of the first things when people tell me, "Oh, I don't have regular bowel movements and they're not well formed," I mean, it's kind of gross to talk about, but I talk about whatever I need to get things done. Um, the beets are kind of nice for that. Uh, they're also good for fueling the formation of the healthy gut bacteria. They're high in vitamin C. And the other nice thing about beets is that they have a natural sugar. So for people that are trying to like taper off of like, sweets and stuff like that, they're going to provide some sugar, but they do so and at the same time provide a lot of nutrients. So there's nothing inherently wrong with consuming some sugar. There's a real tendency in nutrition to demonize things and be like all fat is bad or all sugar is bad. It's like no, a more moderate view is probably more beneficial. And so there's a lot of reasons why the beets are in there. The sauerkraut is in there because it's a probiotic, so it introduces the proper bacteria to the stomach. It's not the only one. There are several others. It's just the one that I found in Canada, not so much in the States, but in Canada it's readily available. Um, so, that's something we might tweak in the future. We might uh, try to offer some regional options. But like I said, it's just a learning process.
Right.
The other thing is that first thing in the morning, we're trying to slam the body with healthy proteins, quality fats to increase satiety. So satiety is just a word that means fullness. Um, and we're trying to do that to help stave off cravings, to help stave off the trips to the vending machine at 10 a.m., and make it easier to have regular meals and not just snack. So yeah, yeah. We also we have a regular potato in there fairly often too, instead of a sweet potato. That's on purpose. A regular potato gets shit on all the time as being not a really good food to eat. That's because they were all anti-carbs for a while. And the reality is that the sugar in the potato gets released very quickly immediately after a workout, which is typically, supper time. You want to be eating something like that because when you go to bed, you don't want any sugars in your bloodstream. You want to actually have your blood glucose level, or that's just the amount of sugar in your blood. You want that to drop below a certain threshold. When that happens, your body, while it's sleeping, will release growth hormone. Growth hormone burns fat and it restores muscle tissue, and it also promotes better sleep. So that's why we in that at that particular time, like right, like your last meal of the day, we want you to have something. Sorry, we want you to have something that's a high glycemic index. Which, if you're familiar with the glycemic index, a lot of nutrition experts were talking about how you always want low glycemic index. Sorry, I keep using the term glycemic index and I didn't define it. The glycemic index is the rate at which carbohydrates get released into the bloodstream after the consumption of a food. So the the potato is higher in the glycemic index. It's closer to table sugar than a sweet potato would be. So,
Okay.
so yeah, there's some factoids. And the other thing that we're trying to do is a concept that I'm not sure where I got it from. I'm sure it's not mine because it's too smart to be my own. But the concept of just-in-time delivery of knowledge. So as you're faced with a situation or as you're trying to make a decision, me providing you with knowledge so that you can immediately apply it, and by applying it, you're more likely to retain it. I find the challenge with nutrition is that people are overwhelmed because it is a very complex subject, and they don't know, they just get overwhelmed with information. So if instead we can deliver that information in a just-in-time format, the likelihood that they're going to retain it is much higher, in my opinion. I don't have any studies to support that, but I think if I went and looked around for a couple minutes, I could find one. I think I read one before, but I can't say for sure. So, yeah. So that's kind of like why we're doing the hangouts,
Right.
and we're going to try and do a better job. I think wasn't it your idea originally to go through and like tag them and
Yeah.
long content, which
Yeah.
is
I,
cool.
I
Like that.
can I can show you exactly one of the ones that I was a part of in the background, how we tagged it up if you wanted to see that after the hangout. It's a video game thing, but I can show you exactly what we did.
Yeah, if you can email me that or
Yeah.
anything, I'm a thief, man. Like I will fucking steal anything I need to steal in order to.
I understand.
Yeah. So, Christina, I'm sorry I wasn't paying attention. Well, I was, but I was trying not to because I was trying to stay focused. So it might be a California thing, but Kraut is put in here because, yeah. So, and the probiotic wave, and just like all of these waves, right? They have troughs, crests, and troughs. This is why I almost flunked out of engineering because of this fucking wave mechanics stuff. But anyways, so anyways, that's a long story. But my point being that there's a pendulum type effect in nutrition where it's very reactionary, and something new comes along, and all of a sudden it's the be all and end all. I'm feeling, based on what I'm reading right now, that I might actually taper down on my prescription of probiotics and focus more on prebiotics. So focus more on the fuel. Probiotic means a food that when you consume it brings bacteria into your digestive system. So it contains bacteria that you want to have in your digestive system. Sauerkraut is an example of a probiotic food. So is kimchi, so is yogurt, so is kefir is a concentrated form of the probiotics that you would get from yogurt. Prebiotics is a word that describes the fuel that those bacteria feed on. So it's great that we can introduce bacteria to the stomach and the entire digestive system. However, if we don't provide the right fuel and the right environment, it won't flourish. So that's why I posted the article on resistant starch. Resistant starch cannot be broken down by the human digestive system. It is instead digested by the bacteria that populate the digestive system, and more specifically, it's digested by the beneficial strains of bacteria. So we need to do both. That's actually why the banana is present with the sauerkraut, because it has some probiotics. However, we're always learning, right? So it really only has like 1 to 5% of what we really need. So we need to find something better. It still works great. Um, Excellent question, and I don't know. I put them together to be on the safe side. I do not know how long the bacteria can last. I'm assuming that it can find some other fuels to stay alive on, but that's kind of why I recommend they both be eaten together. Yeah. So for now, go with let's eat them together, or like I mean, like eat some sauerkraut, have a big glass of water, and then tackle a banana because not everybody's idea of fun is a banana and sauerkraut smoothie. I can't say I've ever had one. So how'd you make out? Um, yeah. So I was just about to ask Thomas how you're making out so far, but if you're working out early in the morning, should I be eating the high glycemic food index food then? Yes, you should. Yeah, and then but in the evening, I'd still have a high glycemic carb because again, you don't want a sweet potato or squash or something like that dripping into your bloodstream over while you're trying to sleep. Um, this is something there's a guy, Dmitry Klokov. I don't know if you guys know who Dmitry Klokov is. He's he's like my idol, basically. The guy's a freak. He's stronger than me. He's about 60 pounds lighter than me, which is unbelievable. Well, not unbelievable, but I'm pretty strong, and he's stronger than me. Plus, he's a lot more athletic, and he's gorgeous. And I'm straight, but I mean, he's a gorgeous guy. But anyways, my point being, he talked about like in the training camps in Russia, there'd be some lifters would thrive on having a full meal immediately before training, and other lifters would perish. They would get sick. So there's there's no there's just different types of people. If you do better on an empty stomach, have you eaten at all that day? Yeah. I'd say maybe you would try, a tablespoon of coconut oil with, do you have a coffee or a tea before you go in? Wow, that's hardcore. That's like 80s bodybuilder. Um, yeah. Is it because you don't no makeup? Yeah, okay. Well, women are their own worst critics, don't you find? We don't
No, I
care.
know. I know better than to jump into this conversation.
So it's just a friend of mine. She doesn't wear makeup before she works out. She still looks phenomenal. But anyways, sorry. Uh, my point is that yeah. Do you find though? Have you ever tried to eat before you work out? I would say if it's simply a time management thing, that I would probably have some whey protein, 20 grams of whey protein, and a little bit of yeah. So stick with the morning. 20 grams of whey protein, and basically just take some coconut oil and actually let it sit in your mouth too if you want. That apparently is good for the tissues of the inside of your mouth. Yeah, so you could try that out, but you could also just keep doing what you're doing if it's working for you. I wouldn't fuck with that too much. It doesn't seem like it's if you don't find that your energy levels are dropping. Yeah, for whey protein, I strongly recommend, especially if you're in the States, you go with you order stuff through True Nutrition. They have a ton of varieties, but if you don't want to wait for that to get delivered, I would go to um, a supplement store and I would get a whey protein isolate. So I would get something that's like 95% whey protein isolate. Um, if you want to get it with a vanilla or a chocolate flavor, that's fine. A good variety is called Optimum Nutrition. Probably put my Optimum Nutrition. They make a very high quality product. The challenge with supplements is there's not that much regulation, so you don't really know what you're going to get. People can put things on labels that aren't true. Optimum Nutrition's been around for a long time. You might pay $5 or $10 more for a 5 pound jug, but it's worth it. It's high quality, and you can't go wrong with that. Hopefully I spelled optimum right.
You're good.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead.
And yeah, unless you guys have more questions, I'm gonna probably shut her down.
I had one
Yeah,
workout
sure, man.
question.
Yeah.
To my absolute chagrin today, I was doing one of the workouts, the new one.
Malgenor.
Yeah, that one I wasn't even going to try. Um, and the band, my gym doesn't have resistance bands for some reason. I think they all have snapped in the past 2 weeks. And is there a substitute you can do on like a machine or some such?
Do you have a there's a machine called a pec deck, but there's one. Do you have a pec deck machine where it has two handles that are straight, not the padded handles that you put your arms up like this?
Yeah, where you'd pull it out and you just pull in either backwards or forwards to work shoulders or what is it, flies or delts, I think. Is that what I read? I don't.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, Christina, that is a really good one to get. Yeah, so so I'd have my face against the pad,
Mhm.
facing towards the weight stack, and so you pull down the the spring
Mhm.
the spring pins, and you rotate that thing so it's all the way, so the handles are almost facing you.
Mhm.
Lock that into place, and then I would do that exercise instead.
Okay.
That's almost as good. I would do a very lightweight, probably 10 to 15 pounds, and I would do 20 or 30 repetitions. And the other thing I would do is instead of having your hand over the handle like this,
Mhm.
I would have my hand like this.
Okay.
So my pinky pointing towards the sky, and I would do them that way.
Okay.
The reason for that is that you're just going to get better activation of the muscles that help you to pull your shoulder blades together.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay.
Those yeah. Okay. Otherwise, if you have your hands in this grip, you can tend to muscle it with your triceps and with your lats. Uh, it's the purpose of that exercise right now is to improve your ability to maintain good posture. And so we're trying to isolate these specific muscles that tend to get atrophied from sitting too much. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So I know my clients.
I'll
uh,
admit it. I sit in front of a computer way too much.
yeah. And I mean, it's interesting because this is a digression, but I mean, indulge me if you will. Um, a lot of trainers have made their living off of being like, I train world class professional athletes. It's like actually I've trained quite a few world champion athletes in powerlifting and all sorts of crazy shit. But 90% of my client base are regular people that are fairly intelligent. Just that's a throw compliment to you guys. Uh, I don't tend to get the Walmart mouth breathers. No offense, but and so they're smart, but like they're not Lance Armstrong. They have lives and they have shit to do, and they have challenges that are So I see from working with this population, I see it's like, yeah, well, because of the fact that you sit a lot and that you're immobile, these are the muscles that are going to be the trickiest to deal with. So that's a lot of the times that's the benefit of working with a guy like me. That's like, I'm not a Hollywood trainer. I'm training people that work real jobs and have real lives, and they have the same kind of challenges. So that's kind of why I mentioned that point. So
Okay.
okay.
Cool.
Um, yeah, Christina, that would be a really good protein to get. And do you guys have any other questions?
Not that I can think of right this second.
And Thomas, did you see that we put up together a new Google form?
Yeah, I already filled it out and sent it in. Actually, when you read mine, you're gonna be like, he's deliberately being pithy, and I promise you, I'm not. I'm not. My whole thing is, if I can get told slash figure out what works, that's what I'm after, and that was kind of my whole thing. I don't have a lose 20 pounds type thing.
Yeah, and you know what? That's interesting. Like I said, this is all an experiment, and what isn't in life, right? I mean, we're always trying to figure out.
Hmm.
But but I guess my point being that I so traditionally what you do is you define a group immediately. So before anyone signs up, you say, you're going to lose 20 pounds if you sign up here. That's
Right.
bullshit. That fucking pisses me off sometimes because it doesn't really acknowledge the fact that everyone has different reasons for wanting to get healthier. And it kind of paints everyone in the same picture. So and so this group, really the point of this group is to grab people that they want to exercise correctly, they want to eat correctly, they've encountered obstacles, either injuries, either lack of knowledge, um, or time management, whatever. And, and the reason why they want to do that, I don't know. And it would be presumptuous for me to say, I know exactly what you want to do. Um, I don't, the challenge with these types of groups is making connections, and actually, I don't get to sit down and talk to somebody face to face for an hour each time I train them. So, the first thing is like, I wanna give them a sample and get them to start feeling a little bit better and get them to be more active. And when they start to feel the effects of that, then they go, well, what if? Because once they have belief, like before you even do anything, you're like, well, I don't know what I want to do. I don't think I can do it. It seems impossible to me. But after a week and a half or 2 weeks, it's like, you know what? Like, this is starting to work, and it's not that hard, and it's interesting. Okay, well, maybe I could, you get the what ifs kind of going on. And so, if you're still like, I just don't want to feel like a couch potato. I don't want to feel like a cubiclite, I call them, like people that have to sit at desks all the time and stare at computers. Um, that's fine. I'll work through that with you. Um, and maybe it is something really generic. Maybe it's just I want to work out 3 times a week and I want to eat healthy 90% of the time. Okay, and then maybe 3 months from now, you'll be like, you know what? I want to go rock climbing. All right, well then we start to come up with a more specific program. And if that never happens, then we don't, because maybe you're happy doing things professionally that's your satisfaction, and you just want to live longer. Okay, so I'm not trying to push my agenda on anybody. I'm trying to discover what each person wants. And then I want to find some way to quantify that so that I can make them feel like their time that they invest is worthwhile. And that's it. Because if I don't do that, it's just the nature of our society that they'll be like, I don't really need to do that this week. I'm having a busy week. But if you're constantly, like, on a bi-weekly basis being reminded, like, like, oh, you got 4% closer to your goal, whatever that may be, well, then that's going to keep you engaged. That's my theory.
It makes sense. Again, when you read mine, you're going to laugh because it's going to come off as unintentionally pithy.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll chew on that particular sandwich when I get to it. I'll follow up with you, man,
All right,
and
cool.
we'll figure out something. Okay, guys. Um, okay. Well, I will go take my dog for a walk then. You guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for stopping by, and yeah, let me know how the new workout's going. Okay, too, Thomas. Did you do you did
Uh,
the yeah, right,
yeah,
yeah.
I did.
Okay, good, good.
I didn't do all of the deadlifts because I wasn't 100% sure on my form, or I think I did all but like, 5 of them, but I just wanted to see if my body didn't flip the hell out with it.
Yeah, everybody's pretty. Yeah. So, and I talked about this actually in the 3 p.m. podcast, where I said, it's amazing how many things people will do to their bodies, and then when you say deadlift, they're like, whoa. Now, that being said, did you do the dowel, the hinge practice with the dowel first?
I mean, I had done deadlifts before. I just hadn't done it in a long time.
Okay.
Like I remember doing them in the past. It was just like, oh, this is different. And I did. I'm not sure I recorded it correctly, but I did put a little more weight on the bar just because.
It felt
I,
like nothing.
yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I did it with the bar plus 50 pounds, and I actually got a reaction out of it. But
Okay.
that was just kind of like, oh, okay.
Were you doing it in a rack too, so it was only partial range of motion, or?
No, it was a bar that I'd take like off of a rack, not not
Okay.
not like in, not on. I'm not sure what you'd call it actually. This shows you how much of a neophyte I am with this. Um, not it wasn't like guided or anything, which is what I'm
Oh,
assuming.
no, no, no. There's racks where you can place bars and they slide through and they're parallel to the ground, but they're
Right.
maybe, and you can adjust them so they're 6, 8, 10, 12 inches off the ground. And
Yeah.
you can rest the bar down on them. So you go from a standing position to halfway down instead of placing it all the way down on the ground and then come back up. They don't even need to be there. You could just do that movement without them being there.
Hmm.
It's just that, like when I wrote that postural to phasic or postural to phasic muscle article, and I was like, if you break that if you break that chain where you lower something and then you rest and then you come back up, that increases the activation of your phasic muscles. And so that's why we use a rack. Now, that's not to say you have to use a
No,
rack. It just
I got confused about you meant a rack. There is a rack that I used. I'm sorry.
okay, okay, cool. So yeah, and if you watch the videos, I use a half rack and I just set the weight down, um, and that's what I'm talking about. The reason why we do that is because probably right now your hamstrings are not going to be flexible enough to allow you to go all the way to the ground with a barbell uh, and then come back up with proper form. You'll end up rounding your back to get further down. So you can't just bend and like elongate your hamstrings the whole way down. They're not flexible enough yet. They will be, trust me. That's what we're working on. But in the interim, we want to practice that movement pattern and we want to get more muscle on you and all of the good things that come from resistance training, but we just want to do it in a partial range of motion. So yeah, if you did it in a rack, that's great. You need to use extra weight, totally, that's normal, and especially for guys, like they tend to have more strength. I'm not trying to be sexist, but so yeah, that's okay. But I would still practice that pattern. I practice that pattern once every 2 weeks just to make sure that, and like my deadlift's pretty good. So we're like that. That's the other thing too is that if you're an Indy 500, if you're trying to win the Indy 500, I guess I'm talking out of my ass right now. I don't know anything about the Indy 500, but you kind of want to make sure the car is working perfectly.
Right.
If you're an elite powerlifter and you're trying to set national world records, you're constantly looking at your form. You're constantly doing bodyweight based stuff and then building up. The idea that it's like a neophyte thing to do to be working on your form and it's something you should move away from as fast as you can because you'll get faster results. No, like the mastery of technique, you're always trying to get better technique, and it's totally okay to cue and practice that without weight. And yeah, it's great to throw some weight on the bar and feel it in your muscles too. That's really good. But that, I guess I know I'm beating a
No, no,
dead horse.
no, I see what you mean. No, I, 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 I can tweak that. That's tweakable. That's not a big deal. Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, man. All right, Christina, you're just back. You missed a little bit, but it'll be on YouTube. If you have any more questions, though, I'm here. I got another 5 minutes, probably, and then I should probably shut her down. But if you don't have any major questions, I'm going to just go take my dog for a walk because, well, she's passed out right now anyways. But all right. Hey, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Next hangout is Thursday at 7 again. Attendance is always optional. And I'm behind. I haven't got the last 2 videos tagged. Thomas, if you could send me that thing where I could look at how the pros do it, that would be fantastic. maybe I could do a better job of it. And other than that, thanks guys, and have a great night.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, take her easy.